Thanks for joining me today. I've got a lot to cover today, so I appreciate the time out of your busy day, and let's jump right in and tell you what's going on with Tuesdays with Grace. We have a special event coming up, and it's our Spring Fling. I hope you are signed up and registered to win the 16X machine and a Q-Zone hoop frame. So it's going to be a great prize for any lucky person who's registered for the Spring Fling. Now let's go to the website and let me show you how easy it is. Now we're starting our countdown next week for the Spring Fling. So let's head over to the website, and you'll see if you open up the graceframe.com page, you'll want to click on events, okay? And then that will show you where the Spring Fling is. Click on the Spring Fling and it'll take you in there, okay, to what's going on. So you can pick on the event schedule, you can look at the giveaways, you can find the community quilt where people are already submitting wonderful quilts, and then the quilt show as well. Here are the categories that we have, and it's I have to walk a little closer, sorry. It's rooted in tradition, and you can already see that there's some beautiful quilts already submitted in that category. If you click on that, browse through, because it changes everything up. You're not going to see the same quilts twice unless you're on there every day. You'll see some of them, it changes places. So every time you click on this category, you'll notice that the quilts will move and change places. So it looks like you're looking at totally new quilts. And read the stories and just have a great time. And really click on your comments, and please pass on your love and appreciation to all these quilters who are sharing their expertise and quilting and their love and their passion. Look at this little elephant. Bryant likes elephants, so he picked Sophia's elephants. And this is an elephant quilt made for her grandchild, and the pattern was from some other person. She didn't make it on her own. It's from Annie Catalog. Oh, that's a great company, the Annie Catalog. And it's just a fun little quilt with, and the colors that she chose. So make some comments, and I'll have Bryant comment on this one because he really liked it. So anyway, let's go to another category. That was rooted in tradition. So we're going to go back, and we'll go back up to the top, and we're going to come over to the quilt show. And then we're going to go into Bloom in the Moment. Now, these are quilts that you're working on right now that remind you of spring. Now, these are springtime quilts, and what a lovely array. Aren't we ready for spring? We are here in Utah. We've had a lot of snow, a record-breaking year, and I think a few of us are really hungry for that glimpse of the sunshine, but we're very grateful for the snow. So a lot of fun quilts. Click on it, make your comments, and enjoy the quilt show. Let's go back, and we have to go back in, flourish in the future. And this is a fun one. This is innovative quilts that have a lot of technique and savvy to them, and just kind of showing you different ways to show your creativity through innovation and quilting. There's so many creative quilters out there that this is a lot of fun to look at, see what they're doing. Not every quilt will ever be the same, and not every quilter has the same perspective. So take a look at that. So let's go to the next one, and it is In for the Long Haul. These are quilts that took you a lot longer than you were expecting. I actually am going to show you one today that took her a lot longer, took Karen Smith a lot longer than she was anticipating, and she couldn't get it in the quilt show, but it's fabulous. And there's one of the quilts that I've always wanted to do, quilt of many colors. It's a white quilt. I'm kind of doing a similar thing with my extreme paper piecing, but it's not pieced. It's extreme paper piecing. So it's a beautiful quilt, and love the colors. Enjoy that category, and then we have a couple more. Let's go into Little Buds, okay? These are junior quilts. These are quilts that are made by kids. Your grandkids, your kids. Let's get them involved in something that we love so we can pass on the tradition and our love of quilting. And look at that. just so creative, so clever, and they're pretty amazing. They're so technologically savvy on the computers, but when we get them in front of a sewing machine, they're kind of like, oh, what do I do? So they need our guiding hand, which is something that we can pass on to them where they can pass on the computer genius to us. Okay, Jeanette Yeager, she says, I'm still working on one. Did I miss the deadline? No. Now, Karen just felt like she wouldn't be able to submit this one in a timely manner because it still needs to be quilted. So I get to show you that one, and I'm really excited too. So no, you haven't missed the deadline. Please keep submitting and keep going for it. Reach for the stars. And then the very last category that we have, oh, did I miss that? Wildflowers. Sorry, Brian. Wildflowers. So, you know, these are just kind of the different quilts that don't fit in the other categories that you think would fit into this. So kind of wild and creative and just a lot of fun and different. So enjoy these categories, click on them, browse through them, and then just have a good time. Okay, so let me get back to, and make sure that you understand that we'll be gone for 2 weeks. Because of Spring Fling, Tuesdays with Grace is kind of taking 2 weeks off because of Spring Fling. So we won't be here next Tuesday or the Tuesday after that. I'm headed to actually Australia. I'm going to be with Lizzie Allen, and I'm going to be teaching a couple classes and the show in Melbourne, Australia. And then when I come back, we get to jump in on the Cutie frame and a 16X, not 16X, just a 16 manual machine, and talk about how to quilt a large quilt and make it manageable for whatever size machine you're quilting with. I'm really excited about that. I get to break up the design and practice some more free motion quilting. So join me in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, let's jump in and talk about the project we've been working on all month, and it's been a lot of fun.
Hang on the phone real quick.
Oh, we got to go to the phone. Okay. Last week we had several of you using your phones, and we thought we'd just show you a couple of key features on the phone apps to help you find what you're looking for. So if you are on your phone and you're looking at it, okay, so when you make the screen smaller, you have to lose some of those features. You can't see them any longer. They're still there, but they're hidden away. And let me show you where they're hidden away. See those 3 lines at the top right of your screen? Under those 3 lines, if you'll click on it, there's all the little things that you should be looking for. So it's the search, the home page, the machines. So all those things that when we shrunk the screen down to fit into the phone, then we couldn't find it. All of those are what they call under the hamburger signals, those 3 lines. So if you'll click on that, then you can find it. And there's the Magnifique magnifying glass that we were looking for last week. So just click on that hamburger, it turns into an X, and then you click on the X to exit out. So I hope you all, okay, and we're going to talk about the Magnifique in a little bit, and I'm going to show you what it does and all the capabilities and get you excited about the possibility of getting one. So let me jump in and talk to you about our project, okay? So I've been working on my project. I haven't gotten it done. I've been working on Spring Fling as well. But I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I felt was really important. And number one is because I moved from one frame to another, I feel like if you don't have an extra set of leader claws, you're really missing out. Because if you have to quilt a quilt and you need to get it done right away and you already have a wonderful quilt on there, these leader claws, because you're detaching them and taking them on and off, are just invaluable to have a second set. It helps you move from one project to the other without it wrinkling, crinkling, and all that, getting skewed up differently. So it makes it roll a lot straighter. So get yourself an extra set of leader claws. And I'm not just saying that because I want you to go out and buy them. I do. But I'm saying that because I feel that they are really important. We are busy people and we don't have a lot of time that necessary to keep pinning and unpinning. See, because these are all pinned, I can just put the leader claws on, the Velcro, and get going. So they'll really save you time, effort, and energy and keep it nice and straight. All right, let's talk about the back of the quilt. I've really done some nice quilting on it, and I'm having a lot of fun. This is one of my things. I'm just really practicing, and I'm enjoying the process. But when I go to the back, you'll notice that some of the strings or some of the threads I forgot to clip. And so if you forget to clip the threads, they get caught in the sewing lines, and so make sure you're cutting your threads and pulling the threads up and out. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about is thread buildup on the back. Now, I said this once before, but I just want to reiterate what I'm talking about and actually showing you. So there's thread buildup right there, and that's because I'm doing my needle up, needle down probably too many times, okay, to secure the thread. If this was a show quilt, I would not be doing that, okay? I would pull my threads up through to the top and hide them between the layers of the fabric. But because this is not a show quilt, and I probably won't be showing this, the back to a lot of people, I'm just doing what is quick and easy for me. You decide what kind of a quilt you want this to be. Now, if it was a baby quilt, man, you can guarantee that that's going to be washed and loved. I probably wouldn't be hiding all those threads because it takes a little bit more time and energy and effort on my part. And so just think about how you want this to look. And if you want it to look really professional, hide those threads. Okay. Let's jump in and talk about a couple other things. Now, just recently we put out an update. We put out an update to the automation. That was the other thing I wanted to share with you. Now, this update is just very needed. It will fix some bugs that you have currently been dealing with. And so if you go to your automation, you need to be online to update, okay? So if you have a hard time getting online, take your tablet someplace where you can get online and you're not interrupted. All right, let me show you where you can find where the update is and where it's available. I'm not going to walk you through how to update. It's real simple, real easy, and if you follow the instructions, you will not have a hard time. We just did it in our class that we just recently had, and everybody was able to do it with really no problems whatsoever. So if you go in and you click on and get into the website, get into the automation, I'm just going to click on yes. And then it's going to finish managing the keys and getting all the files loaded in. I'm going to show you. I'm not connected to the internet. All right, this one just is telling me that I have one gold card membership that was not updated, so it's fine. It's all good. And then we're going to get in to the automation. Where you're going to go is right here. You're going to tap on help right here at the top right, and you're going to tap on help. Then you're going to come over here to manage software management. I hope you can see that. Software management, if you click on that, then if you'll find the little icon that says check for updates, click on that, and then you'll update from the online files. So you're going to get online and then update everything. And then if I open that up, I have to be online, and this is version 5.06.09. Go and do it. It's awesome, and you're going to love some of the new features that are out there. So make sure that you look for that, get updated, so we're all on the same page, so that when I come back, it won't be this next little while, but I will show you what some of those updates are. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. Okay. All right, let me show you Kathy Smith's beautiful quilt. Oh, it's right here. Okay. This is a fabulous quilt. This is Karen Smith. Sorry, Karen. Karen did this quilt, and it's absolutely one of the most creative quilts I've ever seen. It's a bookshelf quilt, and she is doing it for a family friend. He was involved in the Vietnam War, and look at all the detail. It's just absolutely incredible. Now, there are a couple of mice in there that are holding up books. These are books that he has written, and she wanted to make those stand out. And also she used photos of him and his family, and she's got those scattered throughout as well. She said that was probably part of the challenging part, was getting those photos transferred. So if you have any tips or tricks about how to put photos on fabric and get them so that they look not so faded, email me, because we would like to know. And Karen has offered so kindly to help you do your own bookshelf quilt. If you want to get with her, please email me. She was allowing me to use her phone number, but I am not going to, and I'm not going to give out her information. So if you would like to know how to do a beautiful bookshelf quilt and like to get Karen's ideas and how she made them in more detail, please email me, because it was absolutely fabulous and fantastic. She just has to get it quilted, and I just was so impressed with it. So thank you, Karen, and I'd love to see what you're working on, so please email me, Karla with a K, Karla @graceframe.com, with your questions, with your quilts, what you're working on. I want to hear and I want to know. So let's get back. I keep saying so just know it's not intentional. It's just what I'm used to. Okay, here's another one. Here's a question that I got actually from Janine Dill. And it was a great question, and I thought, man, I'm going to share this with everybody. She was asking questions about how you would quilt a yo-yo quilt. She called it granny circles. I didn't know it had another name, but I knew it as yo-yos. These are not hard to make. Very time consuming, because it's like paper piecing. It just takes time and a lot of tedious work, but if you like that handwork, this is one of those quilts that you could actually do and get your kids involved as well. Okay, I pulled out the 360 circle cutter, because what a great way to cut out a lot of circles than this fabulous item. It cuts out several layers all at once and the same size. So to make these yo-yos, you will cut out a circle, and you will have a template that's just a little smaller. Then you'll do what we call a large basting stitch and gather it all the way around and pull it in place. And there's a lot of tutorials online to show you how to make these. But Janine's question was, how would you quilt it? Let me get my Sharpie here, Janine, because I really thought about this, and I thought, you know, that would be good to know. So here's a couple of ideas. All right, notice that on this yo-yo quilt, you don't have any backing. So first of all, I would get the backing, the batting, and a top. I would lay the yo-yos on top and decide whether you want a light or dark colored top so that they'll show up. All right, then you're going to use your machine a couple of ways. Now, you could use a ruler, or you could free motion them. You could go around each of these circles and just slightly stitch all the way around them to tack them down, okay? And you could free motion them that way, or you can use your ruler and go straight down in between them, because they are attached right here. They are sewn together to hold together, and so as you're going down, doing your straight lines, I would make it into a grid design, and then you'd have it held together and in place, and it'll look like a grid. Now, notice that they're not exactly straight, so how you'd want to do it, whether free motion, or you could just go around and tie them together like this with the little window pane with the curves, just right here, and tie them into place. If you did that, then they wouldn't be sewn down everywhere. Or you can, like I said, you could go all the way around them and stitch just right there on the edge, and sew lots of little circles. Now, if you're going to do that, any of these, I want to probably put the backing on first, because you could just sew around them, and then I'd go back and do the backing and then just tack it down with really straight lines. so you have a perfect grid design on the back. So try that out, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I want to see what you're doing, Janine, and see how you finish quilting it. Let's jump into my next one, okay? Okay, that was the Magnifique, okay? We had a lot of you wondering what it was and how does it work, because on the 21X Elite, it comes as part of the machine. And where it fits is right down here. You get 3 different magnifiers for you to use. In the box, there are 3 different lenses, okay? And they have a magnet right here to fit in, and you lift it up or down as you're quilting. But you don't have to have the 21X Elite to be able to use this. In the instructions, it gives you 3 different ways. There's the 21X Elite, and then here's the instructions right here. These are all the little items that it comes with. It comes with a magnifier handle, so you don't have to have it attached to the machine. You can hold it in your hand and thread. It's a little hard to hold it and thread all at once, but this little piece right here, it's called the adhesive mount assembly. This is the piece that you can actually put on your machine. Now, whether you're using a 19X, a 19X Elite, or a 16, or even your domestic machines, or say you have another long arm out there and you're not a unique quilter, that's fine. This adhesive mount will mount to your machine. What it looks like is it's this little piece right here, and it has the adhesive. Now, the thing with this adhesive is it has to cure, and that means you have to let it dry for at least 24 hours before it's in place and secure. So this is just one of those things that we've added to make it really utilitarian and really such a nice thing for any machine out there. So where it would mount, you'd mount it right here, and then you'll put the lenses on, and the lenses will go up and down. And like I said, you can change the lenses out and use them to whatever magnifying lens you want to use. So try that. Go and order your Magnifique, and I know it will be on sale during the Spring Fling. Everything is. So there's no excuse for you not to have one if you have a hard time seeing. This really will help. Now, I don't know if it will help with the quilting, because it's like the rear view mirrors or the mirrors on the side of your car. Sometimes it can make it seem larger, and it can kind of get it confusing. So try it out on just a piece of fabric and see if you like it and see how it works for quilting. Other than that, for threading, invaluable. It will really help you get in there nice and close and be able to thread your machines. Okay, then I just want to talk to you about one other thing. And okay, that was one other question. I think we have time for it, because I'm going to get back into the automation. I had one more that I thought was a really good question, and this was from Linda Kearns. So I'm just going to get back in here. I didn't know if we'd have time for this last question. Does anybody else have any questions out there? Let me know, because we want to answer those questions, and we want to help you along in your quilting journey. I'm just going to hit cancel. I'm going to go in. She had a question. She was using Power Panto. She has the Pro version. So she has a feature called Power Panto when it comes to the pantographs. So when we go into the pantographs, I'm going to say, okay, and I'm going to do 150 by 30, and that is the largest size that I can actually quilt. So that's my simulation mode. All right, so see my screen? My screen is 150 by 30. Okay, when I come in here, I'm going to change from my Panto mode right here. It says Panto mode. It's right next to select pattern. If I tap on Panto mode, I can come up here and select Power Panto. And that's what I want to do. So when you are quilting a quilt using the Power Panto mode, it is going to use the path of least resistance. So it is going to make sewing lines or input sewing lines to connect one design to the next. So it will get it done quicker and faster. And I love Power Panto, but when you are quilting a quilt that has a border around it and you're quilting an edge-to-edge design in the intersection of that in the middle section, there's something that you don't like. You don't like those sewing lines going from one to the next because they can look a little sloppy. They're going back over it. Now, if you're quilting off your quilt, that's another thing. You won't see those sewing lines, so you're just going to cut them off and put your binding on. But when you're quilting inside a border, you're going to see all those sewing lines. She was asking, how do I get rid of them? She likes the way Power Panto sews. So right down here, right below where it says select pattern and read Panto, you'll see two little boxes. One says show safe area. So if you tapped on that, you would see your safe area and checked it, okay? And it's going to show you your safe area. And then if you see the next one down, it says sew through clips. If you will uncheck that, it will stop sewing when it comes to a trim line. Okay, let's design our quilt. I'm going to put it 80 by 80 and say okay. All right, now I'm going to go pull a pattern in, and let me just do these little bubbles and open them, okay? I'm going a little fast, okay? So notice that I see the safe area now. That's my safe area. That's what I've chosen to be. And then here's all my little bubbles. See how dense that is? If I wanted to play with and separate it, I could separate it. And notice with the update, we got rid of the horizontal spacing. You don't need it, you don't want it. So that was one of those features that we got rid of with the update. So as I grow it to be larger, notice if I grow it too much, I'm going to have a space in between. It's not going to look as nice, so I want to pull them together. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to sew in zones. But I want to show you what it looks like first when we sew through clips. All right, and I'll show you all the little trim lines that you have, how it just freely sews from one section to the next. And this is in simulation mode that I'm just playing with it, so go play. All right, and no, we don't want to save it. All right, so see all the stops and the starts? I can get rid of those when I go into my optimize, okay? But there are going to be even a lot more when I tap on sew through clips. So let's go back out, and I'm going to get back out of here. And I'm going to come in and I needed to, so I'm going to sew in zone, and let me show you how many more clips there are going to be. And this is really important for you to see. Now, because it's what I want it to stop sewing at each of them because I don't want a sewing line from one to the next. I want to use this, but there's another setting I want to show you. I'm sorry, it's a little slow. And this is when we get into the next screen. It's called our quilting interface screen. And what we're going to do there, see all these, how many more I have? All right. So that's just not connected from one to the next. I don't know why it didn't connect right there, but I can get rid of those in my optimize. But I don't want to get rid of all of them because I don't want a sewing line all the way down the edge. So if I want to sew and I don't want it to stop automatically, if you'll come into settings right here at the top, right there at the top, then you'll see that we have pause at trim lines, okay? So your machine is going to pause at each of those trim lines. Each of these blue dots is a trim line, and I don't want it to. I want it to pause, but I want it to continue sewing. And I'm gonna just kind of pull on the thread to give it a little extra. If you'll unclip that, then what it will do is it will kind of pause, tie it off, and then continue on all the way down. That way you don't need to be there and babysit it in case the thread breaks. So make sure that you uncheck the pause at trim lines and you uncheck show trim lines. Okay, those two things, you can continue on and it'll do what it needs to do. But I just wanted to show you that was a really good question, and I thought really worth commenting on and showing you. Okay, so let me get out of this, and that was really it. Those were all the great questions that I had, but 2 weeks off, and we'll see you on, I think it's the 17th of April. I look forward to showing you how to quilt a large size quilt on the little cutie frame. That's what we're going to be using, and I'm going to break the quilt up. It's got huge designs. I'm really looking forward to this because it's going to allow me to really think outside the box how I would break those designs up to fit within the throat of my machine. When you're using a 19, a 16, or a 21, it's not that hard, but when you're using your own home machine, it gets a little daunting as to how do I work with those designs and make them fabulous and wonderful. Like you see all those beautiful quilters. Hey, we can do it. We have the capabilities, and don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of trying something new. Please reach inside and pull out that creativity and that want and that love of learning something new, and don't be afraid. We always talk ourselves out of things. I'm here to encourage you. So if you're having a down day, you email me and I will build you up to the point where you can conquer the world. And that's what I'm here for every Tuesday, is to help you conquer the world of quilting. I'll see you next time, 2 weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.